on the Hoop Celtic. So it's been a while since I posted a video. I've been quite busy back at the full-time work, so haven't really got the time in the last couple of weeks to say what I gotta say about everything going on at the club and stuff. But this video, it's a bit different. I thought I'd do something really different here. So what I've done was I picked 10 midfielders from the year 2000 up to currently to be the best midfielders that Celtic have had. Now there's a few names that I obviously didn't put into it that I should have put into it, but it's too hard to pick. It really is too hard to pick. So I'm obviously going to count down from 10 to 1 and say the reason why I picked these players as well, because most of them are just legends. The legends, you know. Most of them have won titles and won cups with Celtic and stuff like that. So they have written their name in folklore anyway. So number 10 has to be Victor Wanyama, the Kenyan himself. Only had 2 seasons at Celtic, 2.5 seasons at Celtic, and then he moved off to Southampton. But when you look at Victor Wanyama, a defensive midfielder, power, pace, great in the air. The first Kenyan to play for Celtic, scored an absolute wonder goal against Barcelona, cracking header. Scored a great goal against Hearts as well for Celtic. Scored some vital goals, even in the Scottish Cup semi-final against Dundee as well. He scored. Big Vic, even that screamer against St Mirren as well, that was unbelievable. But Vic had everything. When Vic first came in, I always remember his first game was against Inter Milan in Dublin, the Aviva, and he was playing centre back. Obviously, Lenny decided, look, we were lacking a few midfielders at the time, a few injuries and so he gave Wanyama the defensive midfielder. Look at it, paid all off. We bought him for what, less than 400,000. Sold him for 12 odd million to Southampton. But I liked Wanyama. Wanyama was a big fan's favourite. He wore the iconic 67 shirt as well, so he made it into my top 10. Number 9 has to be Neil Lennon. I think Lenny, as a player for Celtic, he had the passion, still has the passion as a manager, but on the field he was great. He just loved the old firms. He only scored 6 goals for the club in his whole time at Celtic, but he was a defensive midfielder, great assists, took no bullshit off players. He really was up for the games, and I had the pleasure to meet him in his final season as a player for Celtic. First Celtic player I ever met was Neil Lennon, and that night when he played against AC Milan, the 0-0 game, played a great game. Neil Lennon was just Celtic to the core, and that's what made me put him in there. He always played for the badge. I think in the whole time I've watched Neil Lennon for Celtic, I think about 8 or 9 bad appearances since he was there for nearly 6.5 years. Well, 7.5 years you could say. So Neil Lennon made it into me top 10 anyway. And the next one's Aidan McGeady. Surprising enough, a lot of people have put their eyes up and say, why McGeady? McGeady because he came through the youth academy. He was sold for big money to Spartak Moscow. He proved it on Champions League games that McGeady was a good player. Proved it in the Republic of Ireland fold as well, playing in the Euros twice as well. McGeady had the tricks, he had the skills. Sometimes he was criticised for having too much of the ball and not contributing or distribution to it. But I liked McGeady. I enjoyed watching him. He was one of my favourites as a teenager. And he had to go in there. Later we got Mac. Next one has to be Alan Thompson. Tomo, what can you say? That guy can hit a free kick. He could hit a shot. All these goals against Rangers were just phenomenal. Obviously he scored against Stuttgart as well. Most iconic goal against Liverpool and Anfield. He scored there as well. But he just had Tomo was a good player. Tomo played anywhere you could. He had a kind of he reminds you of Callum McGregor, flexible player, play anywhere. Once he's playing with the shirt on and just banging a few goals in, or even assists, he had it. Even when he was at Celtic, he got his only England cap as well, because they knew that Tomo was a good player. He really was. Him and his Reebok boots and his long sleeve jerseys. So yeah, I like Alan Thompson. Big fan of Tomo. And the next one has to be Callum McGregor. Callum, similar to McGeady, came through the youth system. He got his breakthrough under Ronnie Doyle in the European campaigns, and then he went on loan to Nottingham, Notts County, you could say, and then he came back and just became an unbelievable player, especially under Brendan Rodgers. He really flourished. He did vital goals, amazing placements of the goals, just a great character, and he's going to be unbelievable. He's going to be the next Celtic captain. Him or Tierney will definitely be up there, but he just has everything. McGregor, he just has the machine, the engine to run that midfield, and it proved it this season when he got the Player of the Year, Celtic Player of the Year, and also the Fans Player of the Year. So Callum will be going places, definitely 100%. So it excites me. He's, as I said, he's like Thompson, playing any position, enjoys it. So Callum Mack, and put his way, he's been a part of this 8 in a row campaign. He's been there for most of the titles, and he gets very underrated. But yeah, Callum. Next one has to be Tom Rogic. Tom came into Celtic in January 2013. Obviously had a few spells away from the club on loan in Australia, and so. But Tom has been an amazing player for Celtic. Like he's winning goal against Kilmarnock, Ronnie's second season, always sticks out. He's the treble goal against Aberdeen. Scored some vital goals in Champions League qualification. Domestically, some cracking goals. Just gifted with the ball, just absolutely gifted. And this season he hasn't been great, and that's the honest truth. It's down to obviously a lot of games, playing the World Cup last year, then playing in the Asian tournament as well, and then injuries just affected him. But you know what, I still love Tom, and I hope he stays on. But he's been one of my favourites, and probably Celtic's greatest Australian player. I know we had Viduka and stuff like that, but now Tom Rogic, absolute legend. Next one has to be Stilian Pechov. What a player! Like, obviously it reminds me a bit of Tom Rogic, pushing player. Stilian just had passion for Celtic. Obviously he came in from Levski Sofia in 1999 under John Barnes. Didn't really work out well from under John Barnes, but Martin came in, flourished him as a player, scored in some big European games, all fair matches. An absolute legend for Aston Villa as well. Just the club, just the fans adore him. Even when he played the charity games, he just Stilian, that number 19 shirt is his shirt, and that's it. Like, but some cracking goals in there, and yeah, again another great Bulgarian player. Like, so Stilian Pechov made it in there. I looked up to him as a kid when I first started supporting Celtic in my early teens. Pechov was always stuck out. Pechov and Larson. So Stilian Pechov definitely would be in there as number 4. Number 3, probably the most underrated footballer I've ever seen. I honestly convinced he's the most underrated footballer I know. This lad has over 50 goals for Celtic, over 400 appearances for the club, and this year he got 5 awards. Has to be James Forrest. This season, 40 goals and between 40 goals and assists. The tally mark he had was unbelievable for a Scottish player. He proved it as well for Scotland in a couple of games in the UEFA Nations tournament as well. But James Forrest, look at James Forrest, outside the foot, placement, pace wise, crossing wise, box to box midfielder. Obviously he's just good, and he doesn't get the appreciation. Since he came through the youth academy, he's only been linked to leave the club twice. That was a couple of years back and so, but doesn't get the appreciation. Fans' favourite as well. People idolise James Forrest, and he's gonna be here for 10 in a row. I think he'll be a one man club, and the love he has for Celtic is like the way Tierney loves the club. He just loves Celtic true and true. James is a bit shy, but we love him. He's not showing the pitch. Bangs the goals in. He's been a vital part of Celtic's history, part of that treble team, and we really proved it together. I know he had spells a couple of seasons. Ronnie Doyle didn't really work out well. He scored a few goals in the League Cup final, big European goals against Rosenborg and so. Ajax in there as well. But James Forrest, what a player. What a player. Just, yeah, he made it in top 3. I just love him as a winger. Number 2 has to be Nakamura. What can you say about Nakamura? Like, Japanese wizard. I put a lot about Nakamura. I idolise him. The top behind me is actually from Japan. They just idolise him up in Japan. He's just, 40 years of age now. He's still playing in the Hyundai K-League, wherever it is. But his goals for Celtic are just phenomenal. Like, you think of his 2 goals against Manchester United, his goal against Rangers with the left foot, his hat-trick against Dundee United away, his free kicks against St Mirren, obviously the iconic free kick he scored against Kilmarnock to wrap the league up in 2007 as well. It's just Nakamura, as Scott Brown said in an interview before, Nakamura wasn't this type of player where he'd go in and just work on strength and conditioning. He just cared about his legs, and he just had the gift. He just had the gift of the gab. He really did. You knew when Nakamura was putting a free kick down 9 out of 10 times, that was getting placed in the goal. So he was a good, phenomenal player, and I had the decency to meet Nakamura back in 2007, the same time as I was talking about Neil Lennon. I just went over to him. I didn't get a picture of him because he was sitting down in the reception, and just, he's Japanese. I didn't know if his English was great. Just a bit starstruck. But Nakamura, like, I was watching clips the other day of his free kicks, his top 40 free kicks. Like, he just ripped it up, proved it for Japan, proved it for the teams he played for Japan, proved it for Espanyol, proved it for Regina, and obviously for Celtic. So Nakamura, big time. The last one, but finally, has to be Scott Brown, the captain, the leader. 12 years at the club, deserves number 1 spot. He has been an absolute immense player for Celtic. This time last year, a lot of people criticised Scott Brown, saying his legs are gone, he's not worth it. But I'm telling you one thing, he really has re-energised himself, came back from Dubai after that bad performance against Rangers, and just became an absolute star again. Scott Brown has scored some iconic goals as well. Defensive midfielder. Obviously, you think of that goal, the Bruni, where it all started against Rangers, that 2-2 game back in 2011 when he done the Bruni. So that was just phenomenal. He scored a big crucial goals, European goals against Bisheva and Saw as well. He just had it, like Bruni, the Kilmarnock goal this season, can't forget that goal as well. He's got the goal of the season against St Johnstone as well. But Bruni, over 550 appearances for Celtic, 19 trophies for Celtic. Obviously, he's been at the club 12 years. He loves the club. Didn't grow up as a Celtic fan, but he's inherited the spirit. He's inherited the love for this club. But I'd like to say him stay on, do the contract, maybe move into the coaching side in the future. Never say never, but Scott Brown has to be my favourite. And I had the pleasure to meet Scott Brown. I met Scott Brown once, and he's like the few pictures on the page, and Bruni's just an absolute hero. He just looks like he just wants to have a doss and doesn't take things too serious, but lovely person off the field. A lot of people say, even Rangers fans say, Bruni's a nice guy. So a lot of people criticise him. There's loads of going to be internet trolls, but Scott Brown, what he's done for Celtic's phenomenal. Like, he's held so many records. Like, he had the most tackle conversion, most pass conversion in the Champions League at one stage, one of the seasons. But you're looking back to his first trophy, winning against Dundee United, Tommy Burns, the year that Tommy Burns passed away. But Bruni went through the same circumstances with his sister, but he just got stronger and stronger as a player. He done his I was at his testimonial as well, but just a great iconic captain. He'd be up there, him and Billy McNeil, Paul McStay, like just great captains of the club. But Bruni got me number 1 spot because just a leader, just an absolute leader. He can provide goals. He can provide getting the team pumped up in that dressing room, making sure he's had a couple of bad instance where he got sent off. But every player's not perfect. But Scott Brown, he's a good player to have around. And what really, really does it for me is when you look at last year when he was out of the team and he was injured, people are saying, oh, when he comes back, is he gonna slow the play down? Didn't matter if he slowed the play down. Did we win the treble? That's what it was all about. So yeah. So just to recap, so Wanyama at 10, Lennon at 9, McGeady at 8, Thompson at 7, McGregor at 6, Rogers at 5, Petrov at 4, Jamesy at 3, Nakamura at 2, and Bruni at 1. I know I've left out players like Lambert, Stewie Armstrong, Paddy Roberts, Paddy McCourt, players like this, you know, players that have done well for Celtic. Chris Commons as well. I let Commons out. I should have put Commons in, but you know what, Chrissy was a good player as well. But you never know, never say never. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed me top 10, and I'll be doing a video soon again. Hail, up the Celts.